Now on CoastTV News.
New tariffs and big reactions, the impact on prices and global trade as President Trump unveils sweeping tariff plans. Memorial makeover, plans are in motion to upgrade Ellendale's war memorial. What's planned and why locals say it matters. And tough tow, the second dead whale in weeks, but rough conditions stall recovery efforts.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
President Trump's Make America Wealthy Again plan unveiled today. Good evening. I'm Christina DiRobertis. Welcome to Coast TV News at 11. We begin tonight with national politics. President Donald Trump branded April 2nd as what he called Liberation Day. And this afternoon, Trump signed his sweeping tariff plan, escalating what many analysts are calling a global trade war. Sherelle Hubbard has the details.
President Trump unveiling his new tariff policy to the world Wednesday.
The day that we began to make America wealthy again.
On what Trump named Liberation Day, he announced sweeping new tariffs in the White House Rose Garden.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence.
Aiming to redraw economic agreements with U.S. trading partners, Trump announced tariffs of at least 10% on practically all goods coming into the U.S., with even higher rates for 60 countries that have the highest trade deficits with the U.S.
Reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them.
Trump has already imposed 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports. A 25% tariff on foreign-made cars is set to go in effect midnight Thursday, and a 25% tariff on foreign auto parts no later than early May. Democratic lawmakers slammed the new tariffs even before they were officially announced.
At the end of the day, what we will see are costs go up for everyday consumers, energy costs, smartphones, cars. We will experience this, and largely on the backs of working class people who are just trying to get by.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
And it's worth noting that stocks plunged in after-hours trading following the announcement today, while U.S. trade partners, including the European Union, Mexico, Canada, China, Japan, and South Korea, have pledged to retaliate. Meanwhile, Democratic senators are pushing legislation that would end tariffs on Canada. The resolution passed in a tight 51-48 vote today, and Delaware Senator Chris Coons is a co-sponsor.
Canadians have served alongside us in virtually every war we've ever fought. They are a NATO ally and partner. And for my small but mighty state of Delaware, our major export destination and the nation from which we import the most. And yet, because of an emergency at our border, which I think is wholly unjustified by the data of how little fentanyl actually comes into our country across the northern border, President Trump is moving ahead with slapping tariffs on Canada.
Here's a live look outside now into Dover. And our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams, is going to join us for a check on our First Alert weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you. And what we're looking forward to right now is that it's continuously staying a bit on the breezy side. We're looking at small craft advisories that's going to stay active throughout the entire coastal region of Sussex County. Now, that's from Rehoboth Beach, Pine Hook, all the way down towards Ocean View. And this takes also a hold for us throughout a good portion of the entire Delmarva Peninsula on top of that. So we're looking at scattered showers right now staying away from us, but that's not going to be the case forever because we're going to be watching out for an opportunity for more scattered showers to begin to move towards us as we go into tomorrow night. Now, we'll talk about that possibility coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you, Christina.
All right, thank you, Paul. Well, improvements could be on the way for this war memorial site in Ellendale, but it might be just a little while longer. This comes after a local landscaping company presented renovation plans to town council tonight. The plans were tabled to be discussed further at a special meeting, but still council members were able to see the plans and ask questions. And Coast TV News reporter Brendan Conroy joins us live in Ellendale. Brendan, Bella Terra says the project would enhance the overall appearance of the memorial.
Christina, when we spoke with Ashley Games from the Bella Terra Landscaping and Garden Center, she said that she wants this spot right here at the memorial site to be a place where people walk by and have to stop just to appreciate all of the beauty that's right here. And she says that it is something that they really want to make look like it's something special to show respect to those veterans who have fought for our freedoms. The War Memorial Site in Ellendale will see some upgrades in the near future, but not just yet. Some of those renovation plans discussed include more plants circling the memorial site, additional flagpoles to fit a state flag and others, and even a shrub shaped like an eagle. Donald Dutton tells Coast TV he has lived in Ellendale for nearly 70 years. He says a space like this war memorial for the veterans to connect is valuable.
It would be nice to have a little bit better place for everybody to come to, but there's definitely a lot of veterans in and around Ellendale, and yeah, whatever we can do for the veterans, that's what we need to do.
We spoke with the Bella Terra Landscaping and Garden Center, who told Coast TV they, quote, want to make the site as beautiful as possible, and that they didn't think twice about taking this project on. Jose Fernandez of Ellendale says the upkeep of the War Memorial Site should be a priority.
It was very important for the community because it'll keep the spirit of respect to our veterans. People have served and are serving our country. So it's very important to keep that memory here in town of Ellendale.
A little bit more in recognition of those who gave their all. Even though that big project discussion did get tabled until a special meeting date, one thing that the town did talk about was with Dale Annis, one of the people who works in community engagement for veteran affairs in the town of Ellendale, and they said that they're going to let him do some refurbishing, fixing up the area right in time for Memorial Day weekend. Reporting live in Ellendale, Brendan Conroy, Coast TV News.
All right, thank you, Brendan. Well, the Indian River School District is going back to referendum. This after voters rejected the March 20th proposal by 675 votes. The district says they need money for operating costs and to hire and retain teachers. They're now trying again for the same referendum in June. A former employee for the school district says she can't wrap her head around the referendum failing the first time.
That's a hard one for me to figure, because to me it just seems so right to improve the schools and not make it harder for them to be improved.
And the second referendum will take place on Thursday, June 5th. People gathered along the bay today to try and spot the second dead whale found on the coast in weeks. Unexpected obstacles, though, prevented crews from being able to tow the giant creature. Mayor says the whale is more than a mile off the shore. Crews worked for hours today to try and tow the animal to shore, but they had no luck, presuming the roughly 14-ton whale was stuck on a sandbar. And Mayor says getting it to shore is really important so that they can perform an animal autopsy and try to get answers. Collecting those tissue samples led Mayor to discover the cause of death for the juvenile humpback whale that washed ashore just 3 weeks ago. Thurman says it was a blunt force trauma caused by a large ship.
We can't do anything to save this animal, obviously, at this point. So what we can do for it is at least try to find out what happened to it, maybe what the cause of death was. Was there illness that had taken place or human impacts that occurred? And this all goes into a larger body of knowledge about the individual animal, but also the species.
And Mayor says they're still currently assessing options for next steps, but if they can't tow the whale off the sandbar, it may be a situation where Mother Nature, like the next big storm, has to help move the massive animal. And this does bring us to our Coast TV poll tonight. We want to know what should be done to help whales. Let's take a look at the results, see what you all think. Take a look at your screen. You can see 54% saying increasing monitoring could help. 27% think restricting boat speed would also help here. A few others saying fund more research or public awareness, but you can change up these answers and we want to know what you think. So head over to coasttv.com or use our mobile app to vote. Worcester County is looking to its taxpayers to help pay for water and wastewater funds. The county is facing an $8.5 million deficit, and a majority of county commissioners have proposed an across-the-board increase of $32 per quarter. But people in Ocean Pines say it's not fair, saying they only caused 5% of the debt and should only be paying an extra $3 per quarter. And one of the Worcester County commissioners was against this proposal, saying Ocean Pines is doing everything they can to say no before it's too late.
They are sending letters to the commissioners. They are ensuring that people within the community know the unfairness of this plan put forward. So the more engagement, the more information that is out there, the better off we will be as a community.
And along with reaching out to the community, Ocean Pines is hosting a meeting on April 23rd, Worcester County's budget hearing. That's on May 6th. And we are just getting started tonight. Still a lot more to tell you about. Coming up, pollinator problems. Delmarva beekeepers speak about unexplained bee deaths across the country. But first, expansion concerns. A big upgrade planned for Delaware's Legislative Hall could be on hold due to a budget shortage.
Well, we'll have no shortage of wind for us on Thursday, with temperatures climbing to near 80, but very breezy. A bit cloudy on Friday, and here's another round of rain headed our way for the weekend. So we're in for a bit of a treat in that temperatures are going to escalate to near 80 degrees for Thursday, but it comes with a price. The price will be very blustery conditions throughout the daytime hours, and we have to be mindful and watchful for the possibility of some stormy weather, pardon me, some stormy weather for late in the evening going to the early morning hours for Friday. But here's a look at our Irish Eyes camera in Lewis. We're at 49 degrees, where the wind's at about 9 miles per hour. Now, we will stay in the 50s, the upper 40s throughout the rest of the night, with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. Taking a look, we're at 49 degrees in Bethany Beach, as well as Rehoboth Beach. We're also at 49 degrees at Ocean Pines and in Ocean City. So we have a very mild start to the evening and going into tomorrow morning. The winds are coming out and off of the water, so that's additional moisture. It's going to be on the lower levels. That'll help with bulking up the cloud cover during the day. And to be quite honest, we really want it to stay cloudy all day long because we have a storm moving our direction, and we don't need any more heat to make things any worse than what they have to be. Small craft advisories active for us along the entire coastal region of the Delmarva Peninsula. This is talking about or mentioning or mindful of 25-mile-per-hour winds. But I mentioned a storm system headed our way. This monster, and I do mean monster of a storm, that's causing havoc throughout the center part of the country, Mississippi Valley region, Ohio Valley region. It's set up with a lot of warm air, which we'll have in place. But this trough is triggering multiple tornadic signatures to where this is possibly a record-breaking storm that's brewing here. By the time it reaches us, most of it should move to our north, and hopefully it'll run out of steam. But hopefully, even more so, will stay cloudy enough to keep it from really being so agitated by the time it reaches us. Overnight, we have cloud cover, and we have temperatures near the 60-degree mark. So we have enough heat energy in place so as the warm front moves in. Keep in mind, we have windy condition, a possible thunderstorm for Thursday during the evening. And then after that, the temperatures go wacky all over the place. So first of all, windy, but 79 in Millsboro, okay? Breezy, but 78 degrees in Cambridge. Very windy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour, but 71 degrees in Ocean City. So we study the winds, okay? The winds will be shifting dramatically as we go to Friday to Saturday. And so they're going to be swirling. The the temperature trends will stay in the 80s and it will drop drastically going to Monday. It's really Sunday going to Monday where I'm most concerned. But for Thursday, we will have at least a marginal, which is the lowest level of concern that we'll have. Taking a look at the latest run of the model, I want to see what's happening with this Thursday. Yeah, Thursday's not even looking very favorable for any additional scattered showers, so that works well in our favor. I'm really more concerned about Sunday going into Monday as far as the possibility of real rain hitting us, and this is that line that I'm concerned with that'll push through on Monday. And then following that, we will have cooler than usual weather that's going to make us feel, you won't believe it if I tell you, freezing, believe it or not. Up to 80 on Sunday, then down to 56, then down to below freezing Tuesday night going into Wednesday. So yeah, keep the winter coat handy.
I will do. Thanks, Paul. Now to Dover, a major expansion project for Delaware's Legislative Hall now has an uncertain future. Earlier today, the Democratic caucus released a joint statement calling for the more than $100 million expansion to be put on hold due to rising costs and uncertainty from Washington. However, the $33 million three-story parking garage for lawmakers is still moving forward since that money was allocated in last year's bond bill. As the bond committee reviews the next fiscal year budget, lawmakers are questioning whether these projects are the best use of state funds.
We can't just take taxpayers' money and say, that would be nice, we should have that now. We really have to budget for it, we really have to save for it, and we've got to think the same way a family or a small business does.
And the city of Dover says that before it can begin the permitting process, the project's designers need to submit a final site plan for that parking garage. Well, Delmarva beekeepers are among those feeling the impact of the unexplained deaths of millions of bees across the country. Major bee distributors across the country say they're opening up hives like this you see on your screen in Worcester County and seeing many bees dead. And bees do play a major role in pollination of essential agriculture. Honeybees pollinate around 75% of fruits, nuts, and vegetables in the U.S. That's around $15 billion worth of crops. And an Eastern Shore expert tells us the economy will feel the impact.
We need about a third of our diet comes from fruits, nuts, and vegetables that bees pollinate. And so in my own operation this year, I lost about 50% of my hives here in Salisbury.
And this issue has been growing over the past few months, but as the bees get more active in the warm weather, time will tell just how much these losses will ripple across the economy. Still ahead tonight, data danger. Your DNA, it is valuable, but is it protected? What you need to know. The genetic testing company 23andMe recently filed for bankruptcy and is looking to be bought by another company. Now some lawmakers are urging users to delete their accounts to protect their data from ending up in the hands of a potential new buyer. These headlines have raised questions about safety on genealogy sites. And in today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains how to keep your personal information secure.
Genealogy kits have become increasingly popular as more people want to learn about where they came from, but your personal information could be vulnerable.
We really don't have too many laws that protect this information.
Anya Prince is a law professor at the University of Iowa. She says it's important for customers to read these genealogy companies' privacy policies before signing up.
At the federal level, we don't have a general data protection law.
The Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, known as GINA, protects people from being discriminated by insurance companies and employers based on genetic information. And your health information that's collected through these sites is protected through HIPAA. But even if you delete your account, Prince says traces of your information could still be available.
It's not a complete deletion of everything, but it does minimize the amount of data.
Here's how 23andMe works. You're sent a kit to collect a sample of your saliva, and that can spit out a lot of information about you, including health risks for certain diseases, carrier risks, and information about your ancestry line.
Genetic information and health information is so valuable.
23andMe estimates it has 15 million customers. As the company looks to sell, Prince says many companies will be interested to buy because of how valuable that data is.
A medical research company or a pharmaceutical company could find this data helpful. Somebody who wanted to partner with law enforcement to share genetic information might find this useful.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Coming up in sports, Sussex Tech boys lacrosse hoping to earn their second straight victory and knock off Sussex Central. And coming up, a breakthrough for epilepsy. A new treatment could help stop seizures without major brain surgery. Details in tonight's Health Minute.
We salute Brigadier General James A. Benson. Brigadier General James A. Benson serves as the Assistant Adjutant General of the Delaware Army National Guard, a role he assumed in June 2023. Since beginning his military career in 1992, General Benson has held various leadership positions and received extensive military education, including a Master of Strategic Studies from the Army War College. He has been recognized for his service with multiple commendations, such as the Bronze Star during deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. His leadership significantly enhances the operational readiness and effectiveness of the Delaware Army National Guard.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has delayed the full approval of Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine. According to a source, the FDA is looking for more data on the vaccine. And the vaccine was on track for full clearance until the FDA's delay. If approved, it would become the third vaccine against COVID-19 to receive full approval. The agency's decision was due on April 1st, but the company says it hasn't heard anything. Also, the Food and Drug Administration can now keep flavored vaping products off of store shelves. Wednesday, the U.S. Supreme Court weighed in, siding with government regulators. The case stemmed from the FDA's refusal to grant approval for some vaping products to be sold to consumers, saying they were deliberately geared to appeal to minors. However, it is only a partial win because the High Court sent the case to an appeals court for additional review. Vaping companies will also be able to reapply for FDA approval of the products. Well, nearly 3 million U.S. adults have epilepsy, according to the CDC, and for about 1/3 of those patients, medications don't stop the sudden seizures. Right now, many treatment options for those with drug-resistant epilepsy are invasive and involve major brain surgery. But new research could offer new options. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on a new study aimed at healing epileptic brains.
It's a condition that's unpredictable. Epilepsy causes electrical storms in the brain, disrupting a person's ability to control their body.
It's difficult to live your life, to do predictable things, to have the confidence that I can safely drive to work.
Dr. Jonathan Parker with Mayo Clinic calls traditional surgery options for those with uncontrolled epilepsy destructive, as they include procedures like removing part of the brain or using a laser to destroy a small portion of brain tissue that's causing the seizures. He says these surgeries are highly invasive and often come with side effects like speech impairment or memory problems, and they may not always work.
We want all of our patients to be seizure-free, and that's the goal that we're working towards.
Right now, Parker is one of a number of scientists doing clinical trials of a new minimally invasive therapy aimed at healing the brain through the injection of cells that over time become part of the brain and hopefully help repair it.
What cell-based therapies are trying to do is restore that normal balance between things that are exciting the brain and things that are inhibiting the brain, and normalize that balance so it's less likely for a seizure to occur.
It's still early in the clinical trials, and the research is now focused on safety and efficacy of this therapy, but Parker says it's already providing some hope.
If this one goes through and it's positive and it helps patients, I think it opens up things for the future for these other disease processes too.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening. We had Henlopen Conference battles on the lacrosse pitch tonight, starting with Sussex Central boys hosting Sussex Tech. Early on in this one, Seth Rockwell gets the pass and he shoots it low and scores the opening goal of the game. 1-0 Sussex Tech. Ravens up 3-0. Rockwell gets his second tally with a tight angle shot, score 4-0. Brian Hatch gets long pass and makes an open run on goal and finishes the play, slamming it into the net, putting the Ravens up 5-0. Knights get on the board inside the last 2 minutes of the quarter with this shot from Gavin Comley. Knights trailed 5-1 after one. Then here, Holden Stewart laces a shot that can't be stopped, Tech up by 6. Later on, Stewart finds Deegan Bean, who fires a shot past the Knights, and Tech takes the 9-2 lead. Central answers back, another goal from Comley as the Golden Knights cut the deficit to 6. The Knights start the second half like they ended the first. Another goal, this time from Isaiah Wooters, 9-4 Tech. Moments later, Wooters is lighting it up with another tally, and Central is down by 4. but Rockwell taking matters into his own hands and helps Tech take this game, winning 15-5. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. If you're looking for a meal in a hurry, new research shows the lines at Chick-fil-A move the fastest, and it consistently gets more orders right, with a 92% accuracy rate since 2019. Burger King and McDonald's are next with 88%.
Our Dover camera and Bay Health, Dover camera at 49 degrees. We're looking for partly to mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the night, hovering in the 50s, low 50s for the rest of the evening in the Dover area. Now, we do have a small craft advisory active for not only for the coastal cities for us in Sussex County, but throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. Janet Laws of Georgetown is our umbrella giveaway winner. Congratulations, Janet, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. Listen, if you want some information about your forecast, call our weather line at 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And by the way, before I go to the extended forecast, I want to remind you, since we have a chance of stormy weather for Thursday night, be sure you take the opportunity to download our app. It's CoastTV Weather. It's in your store on your phone. So please be sure to do that, because we're looking for a chance of stormy weather for Thursday night, chance of stormy weather for Friday, and especially going into Monday, where you're going to definitely need that app.
Okay, thank you again, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. Like Paul just said, you can find local news and local weather anytime on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.